I'm Dr. Liz Stafford, and this is Primary Music in Conversation. This episode of Primary Music in Conversation is sponsored by Out of the Ark Music, the team behind some of the most loved assembly songs, nativities and musicals in primary schools across the UK. Their award-winning subscription platform, Sparkyard, gives teachers instant access to over 1,000 songs, assemblies and curriculum-linked resources, plus a fully flexible music curriculum, making it easier to bring confident, joyful singing into every classroom. To learn more and access exclusive resources for primary music teachers, visit outoftheark.co.uk. My guest for this episode is Mike Milner, and it's a first for the podcast because Mike works across not one but two schools in Cumbria. Mike is the music specialist and subject leader at Victoria Junior School and Seaton Junior School, and he's going to be talking to us today about both of those roles, how the schools are different, how the work that he does in each varies according to their need, and how he manages both of those roles at the same time. I hope you enjoy this episode. So welcome, Mike, to our podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself for our listeners, please?
Yeah, I'm Mike Milner. I'm a primary music teacher. I've been teaching now for 35 years. I used to teach 5 days a week, but I'm now down to 2 days a week, preparing for retirement maybe in a couple of years' time. And I work in two schools. I work in Seaton Junior School and Victoria Junior School in Workington.
And that's up in the north, isn't it? In Cumbria, is that correct?
Northwest. We're on the northwest coast of Cumbria. On the edge of the Lake District, as I like to put it. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful part of the world.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How did that come about that you ended up working in two different schools, splitting your time?
When I was working full time, I was working in five different schools, usually like a day each week, just going in and doing the national curriculum music and things like keyboards and choirs. And as I've sort of got older, I've decided to sort of stream down a little bit, but I still want to be involved. I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. So I thought, right, I'll keep the two schools on that saw me right all the way through. I started 35 years ago in Seaton Junior School. That was my very first school, and later on followed going into Victoria Junior School in Workington, and then we developed that, so I went over into the infant school as well. The two schools are linked, but they're on different sites. So I would go and teach Key Stage 1, which was an eye-opener. Being used with Key Stage 2, but thoroughly enjoyable. I decided, sort of, as I say, to sort of trim down a little bit, so that I stopped going into three schools that I used to go in. But so I've got now these two schools that I'm in 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and it's great. I love it.
And have you been at those schools for the entirety of your career in some form?
Seaton, yes. Seaton, 35 years I've been there.
Wow.
That school. And Victoria will be 30 years, yeah. So I've been at the schools quite a long time, yeah. Yeah, we saw at Victoria School. I saw they built a brand new school in 2000, and so I started in the old school, and then we transferred over into the brand new school in 2000, which is fabulous. The facilities in there are excellent. Yeah.
Wow. Are you the longest serving member of staff in those schools?
Yes. Yes, I have. In both of them now. There was a lady in the kitchen at Victoria School was beating me, but yeah, but she's just finished not so long ago. So I'm the longest serving member of staff now. Yeah, yeah.
Gosh, so when you eventually decide to go full retired, that will be an end of an era for both of those schools.
Yeah. Ooh. don't talk about that. The heads won't let me retire. They keep saying they're not going to let me retire. There's always something to do. So, yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, if you disappear in a few years, we'll know you've just been imprisoned in one of those schools. We'll know where to find you.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, yeah.
So, gosh, where should we start? So, ha- why do you think you've stayed so long at those schools?
Because both of the schools that I'm working in now, that the heads are really supportive of the music. The both Mrs. Robertson and Mrs. Carini at Seaton school, they're very supportive and like the things that we do in school and the things that so. That's why I decided to stay with those two schools. The support was excellent. I've been in a few schools earlier on, let's say. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've been in a few schools where, to me, they were just ticking the boxes. You know what I mean? We'll get Mike in, do a little bit of music, a little bit of singing. That ticks our box for Ofsted and things like that. But they weren't weren't engrossed in the music. They weren't as keen as these two schools that I'm in now, to sort of do things, lots of different things with the children. They just wanted do a little bit of singing and a little bit of clap and happy clappy things like that. But these two schools, excellent from both, not just the head, but the staff as well. All the staff are committed and support me. Seaton School is slightly different to Victoria because what we do in Seaton, I work with the children every a year group every half term. So this half term is year 5 and 6. And what happens then is that the staff, they do like a follow-up or a backup for the year 3 and 4s, using such as things as charanga or other work that I've maybe set for them, and they sort of follow up like that. So the backup's there from all the staff as well as the head, So it's good from that point of view. Yeah.
And do you have much control over the full curriculum? So, like, do you tell the other teachers what it is they need to cover in that
Yeah,
time?
yeah,
Or yeah,
yeah, yeah. I do the sort of curriculum planning for music and things like that, and then I'll say this is what we're doing. In fact, we've just at Victoria School, we're just updating things, and the one thing's broken down a little bit more now to make it more child friendly. The speak that I use on my planning isn't maybe as child friendly. So what we've got to do now is make it a bit more child speak, if you know what I mean. So we're doing that at the moment. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's really important, isn't it, for children to actually know what they're learning and why they're learning it?
Exactly. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, the children are why we're there. That's our job. That's why we're there. So to break it down, to make things easier for them to understand. That's what it's all about. The language that we use and things like that. As a musician, you sort of think, well, everybody knows what a bar is and things like that. And, was one child told me, it's what my dad goes to at the weekend is a bar. you know, uh, the bar lines and things like that, and the musical notes and things like that you've all got to break it down to make it easier for them to understand what you're doing, which is part of our job. That's what we're there for, really, isn't it? You know. But it's becoming more and more child friendly, and where you've got to, even Ofsted are liking to know now how you're making it more so that the children can understand. Do they understand what the object of the lesson is at the end of the day? That's what it's all about now. Yeah.
And do you see that as being a big shift from when you first started out teaching?
Yeah, yeah. When a few years ago, 35 years ago, you were just, was just, we'll do, I used to do there wasn't the curriculum, the national curriculum wasn't as well focused then as it is now. We've got what we've got to do now, but in them days, it was just teach what you like, if you like, which was the same, I think, for every subject. Gone are the days where teachers can sort of go off at a tangent and things like that now. We've all got to generally stick to our plans and stick to what we're supposed to be doing, But that's changed over the years. Yeah, it's much more focused now on what exactly we're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
And more child-centred, I suppose, now than
Yeah, yeah,
before.
yeah. I think it was always. I've always tried to make my lessons sort of fun. I think at the end of the day, I always think of music as a bit of a release. They've just done an hour's maths or an hour's English lesson, and then they come to me. They don't want bogged down with, this, and this. So we try to make it fun, even though the learning has got to be fun. So they get a bit of you can see them sort of the shoulders coming down and things like that, and enjoyable. They've got to enjoy what they're doing, haven't they? Children, if they don't like what you're doing, they soon let you know. There's been times in the past where I've been sort of doing things like we do the BBC 10 pieces as an introduction to sort of classical music and things like that. And what I realised early on, that me blethering on about orchestras and things like that, the heads were going down and they were starting to stoop. So you've got to sort of jolly it up a little bit. And the BBC, they've got I think it's a notebook or something. You can't get it on. I think I bought it separate, but it explains all the instruments and makes it fun for them and then you're sort of listening back, anything to make it fun, anything to make it enjoyable. Most of the music we use glockenspiels. At Victoria this week, year 5, we're doing our glockenspiel work. So the Hall of the Mountain King. Now you think, oh, that's a classical piece, but no, it's not just a classical piece. It's the theme from Alton Towers. And they can relate to that, So they're desperate to sort of relate to these theme from Alton Towers. Still call it the Hall of the King, but yeah, and Baby Shark, simple things.
Don't start me off.
Yeah, but to get them to play it on the glockenspiel and things like that, it's that's fun things, as well as doing the more serious stuff. But yeah, I try to make it fun all the time. Yeah.
And do you think you've done that from the start of your career, or do you think you've done more
No,
of that?
I've developed that. Yeah, I was when I first started, I was doing it, but right, this is what I've got to learn. We've got to learn teas and coffees and clapping and things like that, and such as that. And but you soon get children are good at putting the feelings forward. If they're not happy, and then you can see because they're not concentrating on what you're supposed to be doing and things like that. So as time goes on, that's when I sort of try to make it a lot more fun and develop different ways of sort of including them and down to child-friendly speak as well. That's the thing there. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you can. It's all the same information, isn't it? Just presented in a
Yeah.
different way, in a more engaging or motivating way. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to motivate them, as you said that, and motivate them can take the forms of different things. I like the charanga. We do the before each year group. There's a little warm up exercise. I don't know if you've come across them. The little warm up exercises, and they get them to clap rhythms back and move to the music and things like that. And we do that. It's a 5-minute warm up before each lesson. And it's I realised over the years that it's surprising how that 5 minutes can develop. They're doing the same thing week in, week out. We do the same warm ups week in, week out, but it develops the sense of pulse and it develops the clapping rhythms. There's a section where the teacher sort of claps some rhythms back, and of course I try to make them more and more complicated for them so that they can keep up. And the singing, how the vocal, there's a little sort of vocal range, and it's surprising how the voices develop over, say, the 6 weeks that we do that little exercise at the beginning of each lesson. So it's and again, the kids love it because it's being silly and elephants trunks and things like that, and tapping your head to the time of the music. But it soon develops into the children know, and they realise about the pitch and things like that, and are singing more in tune. When we do that, yeah.
Yeah, Ofsted talk a lot, don't they, about the importance of incremental learning, and I think that's a really good
Yeah,
example of that. Just
yeah,
little and often, just chipping
yeah,
away,
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything internalizing and just kind of getting better almost by default, just through going through the same
exactly.
activity
That's
over and
what
over
it is.
again.
Yeah, it's like singing. When we're singing, we do. I've got a list of at Seaton Junior School is a church school, so we try and involve lots of hymn singing. Well, in both schools we do hymn singing, um, but we do hymn singing. Our first half hour on a Thursday morning is we call it family sing. I don't know where that came from. We call it our family sing session. And what happens is we do hymns and things like that, but I add maybe a new one each week, but I've still got the core ones that we've got about 40 that we can, 40 hymns and songs that we can fall back on, and the children know if the projector goes off, we can sing along because we don't need the words for a lot of them. And I think that was one of the things about the developing singing was to do, rather than doing brand new things all of the time, try and just stick to a block of certain songs that you can use. And we do a thing called School Sunday at Seaton Junior School. The children go to church once a term on what we call School Sunday, and they lead the service. The children lead the service on whatever themes they've been learning in school and things like that. And so we try and use any of the hymns that we already know. I get to sort of play them for them in church, and we use those hymns to sort of develop and link to the service and the learning. So we do it that way.
So you talk quite a bit about Seaton. So
Yeah,
just talk us through. So Seaton's the one where you're doing a half term, and the teacher's doing another half term.
yeah, yeah,
Is that
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
And it's a junior school, so it's just Key Stage 2.
Just Key Stage 2. Yeah, yeah.
So what kind of stuff are you covering in your curriculum for that?
Right. We do loads. Um, we start with right. I'll take you through year 3. We let year 3 settle in. Our year 3s are the new year group, so we let them settle in. But what we do come the this term, the spring term as we call it now, we start with descant recorders. How lovely. The and yeah, when we've got them all to play it the right way around and not upside down and things like that. But we do descant recorders in year 4. We carry on the descant recorders as well. Year 5, I tend to use glockenspiels a lot more for year 5s and 6s, and we develop in the note reading and things like that. I start with just letters on the note reading for year 5. I just totally use letters, and then come year 6, I then introduce the stave notation, because I think there's a lot of I've learned over the years that it's difficult for children to sort of pick up stave notation when you've only got half an hour a week, and you're sort of trying to get them to play the instrument as well. So I tend to use letter names first, and then staff notation in year 6. Um, each we've got a choir. We do choirs. We've got a 5 and 6 choir, and a year for choir. As I say, we let year three settle in. We've got keyboards. I do 3 keyboard sessions a week with about half a dozen keyboards coming in. They bring the keyboards in. They lug the keyboards in each week, and we've got a peripatetic guitar teacher comes in and does guitar as well. There, we do because we're a church school. But this, I'm saying it's because we're a church school. We have links with St Paul's Church in Seaton, and we do our Christmas, Easter, harvest services in church every year, and we also do our year 6 leavers service is in church each year. We do a summer show which can vary from the old time music halls and Disney things, and what did we do this year? We did best of the decades, the hits of the decades, and things like that. And every child's involved in that. You know, we put that on for parents. We have a musical evening where our musical talents in school, not just anybody, not just people that are learning instruments in school, but people that maybe pupils that are learning out of school can come along, and we do an hour and a half musical evening where we show off our talents. The choir sings and things like that. Guitarists play and things like that. So and then we're lots of things in the village. We do what we call Carols on the Green, which is our Christmas offering for the community. We go on the village green where the Christmas tree is, and we do a big sing-along, and we're joined by our local infant school, the Seaton Academy, come up and join us, plus loads of parents and friends. You know, it's a good community event. It's great for the community. That's as long as we're not rained off, because the weather in Seaton is unpredictable. But we had one this year. I think we had what hours this year. Yeah. So yeah, lots of things going on.
My mind is a little bit blown. You're in this school for 1 day a week?
Yeah, but I'd probably do more. I'll probably do another day's work at home, prepared and all this stuff.
And so the other staff must be taking on a lot of responsibility for, rehearsals and things, or are you,
Yeah,
or are
yeah.
you
No, they do. I do. I introduce everything. Say we're doing the Christmas performance. One or two I've written myself. So there's one we call Mother Ann. It's about Joseph's mother-in-law, being a nagging mother-in-law, and things like that. So it's the same story, but just from a different angle. And I learn all the children the songs in our music sessions leading up to Christmas, and then the staff, they'll take over and rehearse with them in the classrooms and things like that. And if there's any acting parts, the staff will give them parts out and work on that. Yeah. So,
I really like that as a model, because it means that they're still actively engaged in music, because, as we've said, at some point they're going to have to let you go.
yeah,
And I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine there are not loads and loads of primary music specialists floating around in Cumbria looking for work.
absolutely not.
So, if you were doing everything, that would potentially leave them in a real pickle. But the fact that
Yeah.
they're having to teach half a term's worth of music every now and again, they're having to support with rehearsals, hopefully that means if they do struggle to replace you with a specialist, they will still be able to keep it going.
Yeah. That's the idea, to sort of prepare them for the inevitable, because one day I'll go. I don't know when yet, but one day I'll go.
And so talk me through what you do at Victoria School.
Right, Victoria's a different sort of feel of school as well. It's Victoria. I've got my own music room. It's great. We've got a music room, separate music room. We've got lots of things going on there. Every year group gets a half an hour music session every week, because I'm there for the full day. We do each year threes, again, recorders. Year four get a weekly keyboard lesson. This is above and beyond me. There's a peripatetic teacher goes in and does recorders and keyboards. We've got ukulele lessons, and year six we tend to we continue what they've done. If they've learnt an instrument through school, we tend to let them. We've got our guitar tutor that goes in, and he'll continue them. You know, rather more advanced than the initial ones, and we've got, as I say, we've got our own in-house keyboard tutor. He does above and beyond what I do with them as well. So they're getting like an hour's tuition every week at Victoria, as well as the hymn singing session that we hold as well on a Wednesday. Yeah. Again, we've got a lot of culturally diverse. Is that what that's how we put it now, isn't it? And probably about a third of the school are pupil premium at Victoria. So it's but that, having said that, that has got nothing to do with the music. They come into the music sessions and they grab it, you know, they fully enjoy it, and there's no distinction at all as to what goes on in the music sessions. So, and again, we have links with St Michael's Church in Working, where we do our Easter, Christmas, and harvest services. But in Victoria, what we do, they hold two shows at the local theatre, the Carnegie Theatre in Working, and we put two performances on every year for parents. And again, the themes can be. It was a wonderful world of Disney last time. We've done the old time musical. We're doing this. I've written a thing all about our own town, Workington, our town, Workington, and we're doing that this summer coming, and it explains the history of working right through from the Saxons and right through. So, and the children are looking forward to that. So, and then at Christmas we do like a Christmassy type of pantomime type performance, singing and dancing, things like that. And they're always sold out to the parents. You know, it's all good fun. But that's in the local Carnegie Theatre as well. Talking about Carnegie, there's another link with at Victoria School. We've got two choirs as well. We've got the year 3 and 4 choir and the 5 and 6 choir. And like Seaton, we do the music festivals. So the choirs are auditioned. So because it's quite high standards for the music festivals. So the choirs are auditioned, and we put them in for the music festivals. And we also have links with the Carnegie Singers, who are an adult group of about 60 adults that perform for different concerts and things like that. And they ask us, both schools actually, they ask Seaton and Victoria each year to join them for either the summer or the spring concert, and we do a few joint items with them, which the children love. You know, it's sort of hearing this big sound behind them from the adults, and taking part in that it's wonderful. It's a great effect. The other thing we do Young Voices. Young Voice is a big thing. We're going in a fortnight down to Manchester, both schools again. We've done that for around about 10 years now. The children thoroughly enjoy that. It's a long, hard day, but it's the pleasure that not only the children but the parents, because the parents go and get the tickets, because it's about, I think last year it was 9,000 children and about 8,000 parents in the arena in Manchester. The sound's absolutely fantastic. It gives you goosebumps, you know. But so we're preparing at the moment. We're preparing the choirs and that, and the Young Voices people are preparing the songs for the Young Voices concert in February. So, yeah, great stuff.
Goodness me. I mean, it sounds like you're taking absolutely every available opportunity at both
Yeah,
those schools to put music into literally everything that the schools do.
yeah, yeah. So, and we do things like anything that's if we're offered something like the county might offer us a come and sing day and things like that, and in the past we've taken part in them, and the sing up. We've done the concerts with sing up and anything like that. Anything where we did the part of the 10 pieces was to get members of the was it the Northern no, the BBC Symphony Orchestra, and about 4 of the members of the symphony orchestra came into school and did a session with different classes and things like that, and making up pieces of music, and fabulous, and they were given the children, right, this is what professional musicians do, and you've got to practice and all this. So it was fabulous. Any opportunity, as you say, to do something different as well, we try to involve that. Yeah.
I wonder, because you've been around for so long, let's put it nicely like that. I was just trying to do the maths and thinking I was just about out of primary school myself, I think, when you started your career. So you've definitely been doing it longer than I have. And you mentioned before about, there not really being that formed national curriculum when you started. And
Yeah.
obviously there've been various kind of different iterations of that since. And we're now looking forward to next year when we're going to have another curriculum.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just wondered what your sort of, like, if you were in charge of that, having seen, the chaos of no curriculum and then the original one, and then like the various different iterations like 2014 and stuff, like, what would you do about the curriculum? What do you think needs to be in it to make it work for all children?
I think it needs to be simpler. I mean, there's things in there that there are certain things that for, especially for Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, there are things in there that are not really practical. I'm trying to think of something that, for sort of note reading for a start. As long as the children can understand how to form a piece of music using letter names and things like that earlier on, I think that should be fine. And I'm not a lover of shapes and squiggles.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer, because I'm a musician, I suppose. Now I can understand why teachers like to use that sort of thing, but to me, there's no, at least with notation or the letter names and things like that, you know exactly what note you're going to be playing. Where with these shapes and the squiggles, it can be anything. And I get that, and I get that a lot of people, if they don't know about notes and things like that, that's the way to go forward. But I think the national curriculum, I just think it needs to be a little bit simpler, and I think they need a few music teachers and things like that sorting it out, rather than these people. There's a lot of people that haven't been in a classroom for years and years, and to me, it's them people that are telling us that are in the classroom what we should be doing and things like that. They need to come and have a word with us, and come and come into our classrooms and see what we do, and see how we can improve it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to think that there would be some kind of testing period where,
Yeah.
at the very least, they could go, this is our idea. Could
What do
go
you
away, teachers, try it, and then tell us what needs to change. I
Yeah.
don't think we'll get that, but
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's certainly in sort of successive projects like that, like the model music curriculum. I think it's suffered from not having enough people who've taught properly at primary school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the whole of music education suffers from that, because I think secondary teachers who are brilliant at their jobs, and absolutely nothing against secondary teachers, but there's the feeling that secondary teachers are specialists and therefore they know about everything. But actually, even if you're a primary generalist teacher, you know more
Yeah.
about teaching music in a primary school than a secondary teacher
And the
does.
second, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think, often the DFE maybe doesn't really think that through, and they consult, as people who are secondary based or instrumental, or, as you say, have been out of the classroom for a long time,
Yeah.
rather than actually looking at the realities of what real primary teachers, and particularly generalist primary teachers, non-specialist primary
Yeah.
teachers, have to deal with, because they're the ones who are going to have to teach the curriculum. So it
Exactly.
needs to work for them.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll, maybe they'll listen to this podcast and all of a sudden
Yeah.
we'll have changed the world between us. And we will take full credit for it, let's face it. But yeah, hopefully not what they take from this is like, we need one man in every school just like doing 1 day a week, doing all the things you're doing, because you will collapse after 6 months. So in terms of, I dread to ask this question because I don't see how you could do any more stuff. But like, are there have you got ambitions for either of these schools, for kind of new projects that you'd like to do, or new resources you'd like to have, or things that you'd like to see in the future?
We've got at Victoria School we've got a samba, a new samba set that I would like to get my teeth into a bit more. But the staff, as soon as I say the word samba, the staff heads drop, because they can say they can hear it all through the school. That's so yeah. So what would I like? No, I think we just carry on as we are, but sort of trying to make it a little bit more interesting, I suppose. I'm looking for new ideas all the time. I watch podcasts and things like that to see what everybody else is doing. But yeah, I think plod on as I am, I think.
I mean, I'm feeling like samba on the green could be a thing for your summer term, couldn't it? That would avoid the noise issues.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll put that to our heads.
Don't send them to tell me off.
Yeah, samba on the green. Oh, what a good idea.
I'm very good at coming up with ideas that I don't have to initiate myself. So you can have that free of charge. Do whatever you like with it, Mike.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
Well, I've really enjoyed chatting to you. It's fascinating to hear, all the stuff that's going on at your schools, and also that experience that you've had for your long career, which long may it continue, or at least may it continue as long as you want it to.
That's it. That's it.
Then just say again, thank you so much for your time, Mike Milner.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Goodness me, Mike is a busy man. I really like the way that the music just kind of infuses the whole local community. And I guess that is the benefit of Mike having been at those schools for such a long period of time. So all those connections have been made, and all of those different kind of initiatives have been bedded in and just become part of the life of the school. All that extracurricular, all those choirs and the festivals and the performances. It's amazing actually that they can keep all that going when he's only 1 day a week in each school, which is a testament to him, I think. And I am sure that when he does choose to retire, those schools are going to be really, really sad to see him go. But I know that he's been preparing the teachers and making sure that resources are available so that whatever happens, those schools can retain their fantastic music provision. A real inspiration to us, I think, on that podcast, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. We'd like to thank Out of the Arc for supporting this episode of Primary Music in Conversation. With their award-winning platform Sparkyard, they help teachers bring confident, joyful singing into every classroom and every corner of their school. If you're a music educator looking for high-quality, ready-to-use singing resources, visit outofthearc.co.uk to find out more. Primary Music in Conversation is presented by Dr. Liz Stafford, edited by Kay Charlton, and produced by Music Education Solutions.